everyone, Saki here and welcome back to my channel. So we just got back from San Francisco and unfortunately I didn't vlog too much when I was there. I was trying to, but I'm normally super bad at vlogging in general because I'm always caught up like enjoying my time that I never remember to pull out my camera. I'm actually very bad at even taking pictures on vacation because I just never remember to pull out my camera. But also this time, of course, we brought Killian, so it was just a challenge doing things with him while also trying to do the normal things that we do on vacation. So yeah, I just didn't get that much footage. So I promised you guys a packing vlog, so I'm actually going to combine the packing and the like very few clips that I did take in SF and combine it all into one vlog, and I will upload that next Wednesday. So if you were looking forward to that, please stay tuned. I will also talk about what it was like traveling with a 5-month-old and what I brought that I found very useful and what I brought that I didn't even use at all. So if you are interested in that, please stay tuned. But today's video is going to be another Chanel video, but I wanted to do something a little bit different. I did do a video a long time ago all about my vintage Chanel collection, and I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit more about vintage Chanel items because, well, I'm just, I'm in one of those moods where I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to buy Chanel anymore just because, you know, the prices are getting too expensive. And I do think that I still love Chanel, but if I do buy anything else, it'll probably be some of their older pieces and especially vintage items. I just think that their vintage items are great. So in today's video, I'm going to be talking to you guys about the 4 kinds of vintage Chanel bags that I do think are worth buying and worth investing in. And some of those I do have in my collection today, but one of them I actually don't have that I'm kind of keeping my eye out on, and I have seen on the internet a lot, and I'm a huge fan of. So if you were interested in vintage Chanel, I really hope that you find this video useful. So the first type of vintage Chanel that I think is worth investing in is, of course, classic flaps. Classic flaps, even if they're expensive right now, I still do believe that all Chanel classic flaps are pretty much a great investment. They are going to keep going up, and if you have the money, I do think that it's worth buying. However, if you don't have that kind of money, I do think it's worth taking a look in the vintage Chanel market. So this is a vintage Chanel, well, vintage. I use vintage very loosely here because people always argue with me, but my bag is from 2004, which means that it's over or almost 20 years old. So I would consider that vintage. However, people say that vintage is only if you buy it from the 80s or 90s, but because this bag is so old, I always just call mine vintage. But yeah, I wanted to compare this one and talk to you guys about this one because my mom actually has the Chanel classic flap in beige, and this one's actually from, I believe, 2020. Actually, she didn't even remove the tag yet. It is actually from 2021. It's from the 21A collection, but of course it is in beige clear, so this is not a seasonal color. This is one of their classic colors. Look at the quality between these two. So I believe that the caviar is still very, very, like, it's still shiny. It's still, I don't know. I don't think you can even tell that the caviar on this pink one is older. And then just look at the stitching. They have made this bag the same way forever. So you can really see, compared side to side, that the quality is just really, really good. So this bag in particular from 2004 is actually highly sought after because of the color. So you might not be getting a really amazing deal if you buy this one. I think that people are trying to sell it for a near retail price, but you know, other bags from around this time that are, you know, 18 to 20 years old. I just wanted to say that you can find bags out there in different colors that are still a lot cheaper than retail price. You might have to dig, and you might not find it on like Fashion File or bigger websites like that, but I do think that some consignment stores on Instagram and just smaller consignment stores in general might have ones that are a little bit cheaper, but it is definitely worth looking at because, as you can see, it is basically the exact same thing as a bag made now. So I also wanted to talk to you guys about this Chanel classic flap that I have. This is from This is a 2 series, so I like to say it's from 1992, but it can really be anywhere from like 1991 to 1993, I think. But 1992 is the year I was born, so I like to say this is my year bag. So yes, this one is a little bit older. It is 30 years old now, but you can see that the quality is still really good. They've made these bags, you know, the same way forever, and I do have a little piece of cardboard in mind to help keep its shape, but other than the quilts flattening a little bit, I think that this one is in really good condition as well. And this one I bought for a really, really low price. I'm sure it'll be higher now with the Chanel price increases, but I do believe that I only spent maybe $3,000-ish, maybe $2,000 in this one. So if you don't mind that like really vintage look, I definitely think that you can find a lot of Chanel bags out there that are vintage classic flaps that are way cheaper than retail price. Another bag that I have that's exactly in the same series as the classic flap and caviar that I have here is actually the Chanel vintage vanity case. Now the reason why I think vanity cases are worth buying is because they're still in style. I know that vanity cases have changed a little bit from like this time period to now. They have ones that are more rounded, that look more like little suitcases, that are more functional, but they have brought this exact design back in the recent years. I think the latest that they've done it is maybe 3 years ago. So I do still think that it could be in style. And even if it's not, I do think that these pieces are just really unique. Now, the reason why I would recommend a vanity case maybe over a classic flap is that these vanity cases are cheaper when you find them on the secondhand market than a classic flap. Like I was saying, a classic flap could be being sold at retail price depending on the kind, but I do think that these vanity cases are always at a lower price point. So if you are looking to dive into Chanel and into creating your own collection and you are a fan of vintage, I think that the vanity case is a way to go if you don't mind the fact that it is a little bit quirkier than your classic flap. The next bag that I do have with me, one that I actually posted on my Instagram recently, and I don't believe that a lot of people have seen this bag, is the Chanel Medallion Tote. So this one's actually my mom's, and of course it is in the same pink. It's in the 2004 pink caviar, but I absolutely love this bag, and I almost bought it for myself. If my mom hadn't bought hers, I think I would have bought one for myself, but she actually paid a really good price for this one. Granted, she did buy it a few years ago when Chanel wasn't as crazy as it is now, so you might not find it for as good of a deal as she did, but she bought this one for about $900, and it is authentic. By the way, I get all of my secondhand items authenticated by Real Authentication. They are a great company. You just upload pictures and pay for the authentication, and they will email you and even give you a certificate if you want to pay for that. But yeah, I do check all of my secondhand items, so they are all authentic. But yeah, so she bought this one, and the reason why I do love this one a lot is because, like I said, you can get a really good deal on it, but also this is one of the bags that I find that is the most functional. You can carry it on the shoulder, and the strap size is really nice to where it's not too short, and it looks great on the body. And then you can also obviously carry it handheld or on the crook of your arm, and this bag can just hold a ton of stuff. Compared to a tote bag like maybe the Neverfull, you can't hold as much stuff in it, but definitely compared to, you know, the vanity case or even the Chanel Classic Flap, if you want a functional bag, this is definitely one to get. And like I said, you can find it for a pretty good price in the secondhand market. It also comes in different colors. I have seen it in beige and in black, so if you're not a fan of pink, you can definitely find this on the secondhand market in different colors as well. I will try to link a few bags that I think are really good or really worth buying in the description box below if I can find them, but it really just depends on luck and when you're looking. Alright, and the last bag that I want to talk to you guys about that, like I said, I don't have is actually the Chanel Diana bag, and I absolutely love the look of this bag. It does come in pink, so I might be a little bit biased, but it does come in other colors as well. And the reason why I love the Chanel Diana bag is because the one thing that I love about vintage bags is that they can be very unique looking while also still look relevant at the same time. And I think that the Diana flap is one of the best examples of this. So it looks like a Chanel Classic Flap bag, but at the same time it is more unique. So if you are looking for something that, you know, not everybody has, but also it looks like a classic shape more so than like a vanity case, I do think that this flap is amazing. It does pop up on the secondhand market a lot, but in varying conditions. So I've seen this bag because it's made in lambskin. I've seen this bag in really rough conditions, and I've also seen it in really pristine, immaculate conditions. And I will have to say, if you find one that's like rough looking but it's at a really good price, I would suggest that you buy it and send it to a leather restoration company. I personally have used Leather Surgeons before. They're not sponsoring this video or anything, but I have used them and I think that they do really great work. So if you do find a really good deal on a vintage bag that might not be in such great condition, I do recommend finding a leather repair service near you and sending it to them, because sometimes you can save so much money by buying something in lesser condition, and after it's repaired it looks amazing. And usually repairs don't cost that much money. Only, like, the last time I sent one of my bags into Leather Surgeons, it was only a couple $100s, and I saved a bunch of money by buying the bag cheap. So yeah, I highly recommend that you do that as well, especially with something like the Diana flap. I just love the look of this bag. I really hope to add one into my collection one day, hopefully. It's not too expensive when I'm looking. But yeah, those are all of my recommendations for vintage Chanel bags. What do you guys think of my picks? If you are a fan of vintage Chanel as well, I would love to know what you would pick in the comment section down below. Let me know what vintage Chanel bags you really like. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. That's the end of my video. Like I said, please stay tuned for my SF packing video if you are interested, what it's like traveling with a baby. And yeah, I do plan to have more Chanel videos coming soon, so please stay tuned. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!